So sorry, but I'm not taking off my glasses.
Lockyer takes the shot. It's low. He's got it. I think he's got it.
Merlin, are you going to speak?
But for me, it was a winner. David.
Well, I'm afraid it wasn't for me, Margaret.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
On. Welcome back to On the Air Tonight, the only free podcast that reviews free-to-air content. We're back for another week in Trademark Studios. My name is Tom.
And I'm Jake. Episode 56. We're back in your ears like a rare parasite.
Back in your ear holes. Thanks for joining us for another week.
Mm-hmm.
A week that is marred in sadness.
There's been a lot. I mean, it's been an interesting start to the year, capped off with the most recent week we've had.
If last week if devastating floods of 2022 wasn't enough, if the war in Europe wasn't enough, let's just put a little cherry on top of a very sad 3 months of a year with the death of a goat.
Yep.
The death of a goat. Shane Keith Warne.
Shane SKW.
SKW, not SJW.
No, anything but a social justice warrior, that man.
Far from an SJW, this is an SKW.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the J and the K might be right next to each other on the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted. Don't make that typo.
They're right next to each other in the alphabet, but do not misconstrue the K for the J.
I couldn't think of a more inappropriate typo. If you're trying to do a Vale SKW and you give him a Vale SJW and brand him as a leftist or a militant libertarian almost.
I mean, you're just aggressive progressive.
Just an aggressive progressive. That's not Shane.
No, and like if you spell out his name, not an L in sight.
No L's.
No.
Full of consonants.
Dry as a bone.
Some vowels as well. So if we come to you this weekend, you might think, oh, wow, this is a podcast I come to for yucks. I come here for laughs. I come here for joy. To lighten up my week, and you might have turned this on and gone, okay, I can hear a bit of misery in the boys' voice.
Yeah, instead of us trying to make funnies and then failing, we're just not going to do that this week.
We're going to flip the concept on its head.
We've realised that, comedy's just not our motif, mate.
The harder we try, the less funny we become.
Yep.
So maybe we try to be really sad, and we'll be bad at that too, and we'll end up being funny.
Yeah, just every time we make a joke, you can just see the numbers nosedive.
Yeah. Maybe we're just doomed to be bad at what we try to do. So
let's stop trying.
Let's stop trying to be good or funny.
Fuck, if you thought the first 55 episodes was us trying. Ooh, jeez.
Wait till you get a load of 56.
That's really not
Because
trying.
now we're trying to be sad, and it's probably going to come off as funny.
I don't have to try, mate.
Okay. Yeah. Not a single beer inside on this table.
No.
If there's anything, there's nothing sadder than 2 glasses of tepid tap water.
I mean, having God's nectar is not bad.
You talking about water?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were talking about Forex.
No. The real God's nectar.
How have you been, Jacob?
Yeah, I've been all right. It's it's been an interesting week. Obviously coming off the tail end of some shitty weather in Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, everything happening in the news with pending World War III, which, it could be hyperbole. It could stay over there. It could escalate. Who knows? Everyone seemed to forget about COVID. And on Friday, it seemed to be, things are slowly returning to normal. We, mask mandates over in Queensland, so didn't have to wear masks.
Cleaning up the floods.
Cleaning up the floods.
Not that we're beyond that or that's in the rearview mirror, but the flooding itself is not continuing.
We're out of the thick of the jungle when it comes to the natural disaster. Still plenty of other shit going on.
Well, so we thought.
Yeah. And then, had a couple of beers with some mates on Friday night. And then went home, woke up to the very sad news that we lost. Some would call him the greatest cricketer of all time. Others would say, top 5.
Some have called him the greatest cricketer of all time.
Yeah. I mean,
some people, Ricky Ponting called him the greatest cricketer of all time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's if there's a validated, opinion.
If there's someone who knows a bit about cricket, it's me.
It's definitely not the guy who's won multiple Ashes and World Cups.
No, it's not punter. It's Tom Farrelly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ricky knows a thing or two.
Yep.
About the sport. And he didn't call him the greatest bowler of all time or the greatest leg spin bowler of all time. He
Greatest
called him
cricketer.
the greatest cricketer of all time. So don't get it twisted. Don't just when you're branding him with a brush, brand him with the right brush, because Ricky set the pace there. Ricky said he's the greatest cricketer of all time, and I think when Ricky says something, we fall in line.
You can say a lot of things about Mr. Warne. Maybe some things would be in poor taste in his in the wake of his demise.
We can say it. He'd want us to.
He's a cow. No, I'm only kidding.
He's a coward.
No.
We said we weren't going to try and be funny. Don't try to make me laugh with things like that.
So this week we delved into a 2018 interview with Leigh Hayes, was it?
It was Leigh Hayes, yes.
Interview that happened just under 4 years ago.
It's on ABC. It's on ABC iView. They've put up a few Warnie-related interviews of the past, or just kind of Warnie specials since the passing of him. And we thought, what better opportunity to he's worth. I think it's a worthy enough event to dedicate a whole episode to the man.
Give 2 cents worth to the man, the myth, the legend. It's just if you do watch it, going through ABC iView is just like featured trending content right now. It's like 3 Shane Warne interviews. There's a Putin documentary. there's COVID,
a flood disaster special.
Yeah, it's just it's a bleak time.
Yeah.
If you're trying to tune into some free-to-air television.
Yeah. Well, we thought the natural disasters were over, and then you wake up on Saturday morning and okay, Shane's gone.
That's the most unnatural disaster there is.
The most unnatural disaster of all time.
52.
52 years old, gone way too young. If you're on YouTube and you're a consistent watcher on YouTube, you know that when we're in Trademark Studios, King Shane looks down on us.
Yes, we have a prized painting of the man.
A beautiful oil painting of him just in full motion, arms like fucking cannons.
Yeah, has the forearms of the lead singer of Floodlights.
Oh my God, stop it. And the biceps of fucking Sliced Alone and any of his great Rocky. Let's go with that.
And to quote the man himself, he said, in the painting, he kind of looks like he's just swallowed a sheep.
Yes. Well, is this the moment?
Oh, I don't know. I think that might be his debut bowl for the Ashes, the one where he knocked out the English captain.
It says 97 down the bottom, but I don't know if that's is it the Gadding ball? I don't know. I don't think that's the.
You're the residential cricket expert around these parts, so we'll delve. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just going to say I do want to preface this episode with I know I'm Mr. Cricket, and of late I am a cricket guy. I went to.
You went to the Ashes.
I went to the Ashes on a free ticket through work, and I know that I am a cricket guy, but I'm not a cricket guy. Like if I feel, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I grew up watching every ball that Shane bowled. I don't think you're going to pretend that either.
No,
but we're going to do our darndest. We're going to do our best to pay respects to the man, because I think we'll scrape through. We can hold our own at a dinner party as far as cricket chat goes,
for sure.
So what we're saying is we're not the experts in the topic, but still listen to us for an hour talk about the topic.
We're complete rookies, but just bear with us, all right?
Awaking to the news on Saturday was, this isn't a unique experience that we went through. I think the whole nation's going through this, but it was one of those ones where you check your phone or a mate sends it to you. I got it through. I woke to it because friend of the show, Jordan Liner, was obviously working a night shift in Melbourne now. He would have got the news live. He sent it through at like 2 a.m. when the news broke. So I woke to that. And it was just one of those things where you go, okay, I'm going to check 10 other sources.
I got to validate this.
I got to validate this because...
It doesn't seem real.
Fuck off, Shane's dead. Fuck off, he's dead.
Yeah.
Shane doesn't die.
It's we've had a lot of celebrity deaths. I feel like the from the genesis of COVID, like not 19, but just start of 2020, like there's just a shitload of people who've died, and I feel like without this is not me diminishing his death at all, but it just as bad as it sounds, things are looking so bleak in the world right now. It didn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's like, oh, Shane was always doing stuff that got him into trouble or whatever. Like, he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
After, just sitting on the couch, having a beer, watching the cricket in Thailand after getting a massage. So he was at peace.
He was at peace. And I know what you mean. It's almost like, okay, another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, Shane's dead.
Yep.
Another really bad thing happens.
We are straight up entering the second era of the Great Depression.
Yeah. Like we said, if floods and wars and COVID wasn't enough, throw Shane dying on top of it. And it's just something the nation didn't need right now.
No, for sure.
And I'm sure Shane didn't do it deliberately. And I'm sure he wasn't trying to spite us or smite us as a nation. But Shane, if you're listening, we didn't need this right now.
Yes.
Terrible timing on your part.
It's your fault.
It's your fault that we're this sad right now. I mean, it was one of those things where, I mean, as far as celebrity deaths goes, you're saying since COVID has happened, you feel like we've had more.
Oh, well, maybe it's magnified because, you latch onto every piece of news, especially something breaking as a celebrity dying. But 2020 we had Alan Rickman, David Bowie.
Was that 2020?
I feel like it was 2020. It might have been 21.
Okay, and I thought it would be longer ago. I thought that might have been 19. Bowie.
I can remember like people like a lot of deaths
Dropping
happening in
off like
2020
flies.
And memes being made about like, oh, can this year get any worse?
Yeah,
Next minute, Bowie's.
We lose. Yeah. A celebrity death on top of a worldwide disaster feels a lot more heavy.
Worldwide disaster, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of shit going on to be depressed about.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Good things still happen because we got to go to 9 Lives after that.
Yeah. We'll brighten the mood for a little bit before we
That's not selfish.
Before we tuck back into the depressing stuff. We did have a lovely Saturday.
It felt strange going from. I mean, we had this planned for weeks. We've had this plans for a year.
For a year, we bought tickets to this 9 Lives Festival. Shout out to Jet Black Cat Music, local record store in West End that organises great events all the time. And this seems to be their...
I think it's Shannon from Jet Black. She seems to be this elusive name that gets thrown around.
A lot of thank yous.
A lot of thank yous to Shannon
from the artists. But yeah, we've had this on our dashboard for quite some time. Originally, it was going to be bands like Mild Life and Tropical Fuckstorm. If you don't know who either of those are, go check them out.
Go check them out and check yourself out as well for not knowing who they are.
Correct. Yep. Check yourself.
Go to the doctors, get yourself checked, and then check out the band.
But yeah, coming off the news of the morning, I suppose it was nice to be able to. It was the first time we'd been in a crowd of like that many people, without masks on in probably close to a year.
Yeah, there was something strange about it. There was to have no masks, and we were trying to do a head count when we were there. Maybe
1,500, I reckon.
You reckon 1,500?
I reckon 50, because the capacity of the Tivoli is like somewhere around that to 2,000.
Yeah,
and they obviously they had the if you don't know the Tivoli, one of the cornerstone live venues in Brisbane for music, for comedy, whatever the case may be. But it's a nice venue, and yeah, they just
heaving. It was heaving.
It was heaving.
It was heaving with people.
It was, yeah. Yeah, just nice to be out and about again. And we saw an act that we'd been wanting to see for quite some time, by the name of Floodlights.
Didn't disappoint.
Did not disappoint.
Not for a moment did they disappoint.
If you consider yourself a true Australian or just someone who likes really, really Aussie music, and it's
quintessentially sounding Australian music,
and I'm not talking Six White Boomers or the second stanza of the national anthem.
No,
this is like this is pub rock. These guys write. I feel like
open. It's like pub poetry.
Pub poetry because they write open love letters to like their biggest song Nullarbor is just an open pen letter about just hitting the road.
Just pack your boot up and drive.
Mm-hmm. Everything that's necessary for your life. Your jack tools and tire repair kit makes me feel the part, but in Bridgestone I will sit.
Driving through this quiet little town, novelty-sized boot.
No, it's novelty-sized fruit stands with nobody around.
Cattle
stations humming to the night.
And I ain't seen nothing yet.
You see.
and I ain't say nothing yet. The UHF, it crackles hard.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Honestly, we could plagiarize waxing poetic.
We waxed poetic over poetry.
We could just do a quick copy paste of their lyrics if you wanted us to, but go check them out. They were phenomenal.
If you want to dip your toe into the water of Floodlights, it's definitely Nullarbor. That's the song that you want to start on.
I think we were both like, and it was good that it was not good, but it was great to start the day off with a big act, like the act that we wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
It really set us up with a high energy.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us were prepared for how good looking the band is. Like,
So, yeah.
I just want to touch on that because the amount of times I was just looking at them like, you guys are in the wrong art industry. Like, you should be in movies or modeling.
Yeah. We've spoken at nauseum about bands like the Jensens and the difference that a good-looking frontman or even just a charismatic
Charismatic, yeah, to have stage presence.
have stage presence. And I think I would almost say that the Jensens hold more stage presence on stage.
There's more interaction with the crowd for sure.
But if they're in a lineup, if you're picking Floodlights frontman, even Floodlights bassist to Floodlights harmonicist to Floodlights drummer, put all of them next to a photo of Joe from the Jensens. Sorry, Joe, you know how much you know how I love the way you shake your hips, but you're going to lose out to Floodlights.
It's just different ways of presenting their art.
Sometimes Joe is very, I pour my love outwards through my hips.
Joe is the frontman of a local band called the Jensens that Tom's referring to, by the way.
Previously mentioned on the podcast, but a few episodes ago, so if you're a new listener, we won't hold it against you.
Real ones, no.
Real ones, no. I would say that Joe, as a frontman, puts it out into the world, and he spreads his seed over the crowd. I would argue that Floodlights almost draw you in with their brooding good looks. They don't have to do a whole lot of moving. I won't lie, they didn't do a whole lot of moving.
In fact, they didn't even interact with the crowd.
They didn't interact with the crowd. They were quite stoic. They were quite still. But that didn't make a difference because when you look like fucking surfer dad Bradley Cooper with a mullet.
Yeah, you've got a young Dolph Lundgren's jaw and then his forearms as well.
Oh, the forearms to match.
My God, I was just staring at the front man on guitar's forearms for half the set, just like you are a fine piece of human biology right here,
a specimen of himself.
And we had the pleasure of talking to them after the show.
We did. Before we get onto the talking thing, I'll just mention that we've talked about lead man Lewis, I think. Lewis's forearms.
Lewis, yep.
Ash, the only female of the four-piece, harmonicist.
Rhythm guitar and harmonicist.
Rhythm guitarist and harmonicist. I've put Nullarbor video on, Backyard video on, a bunch of Floodlights videos on in the past, and I've shown like my parents to be like, check out this fucking band, and they're like, is that a guy or a girl? When Ash comes on with a harmonicist. And she's I would say she's almost a bit more dressed down in the videos.
Yeah. She's a bit of a tomboy.
Bit of a tomboy. She looks like a bit of a tomboy. And she still works it. She looks great. But fuck me, in real life, I was like, she's a 10.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be mistaken for a boy anywhere.
Do you think part of that is, and this is an opinion that I strongly agree with, that like I'm above all else, obviously looks are great, but my God, talent is just like when I see like a live performance, especially musicians, I absolutely gush.
Yeah.
Like if someone like good point mentioning Joe from the Jensens because they had a lot of presence, but when I see like these guys with phenomenal talent, and the way they sound in real life is as accurate as it is to their recorded stuff.
Yes.
You just melt for them.
You melt. You go, okay, you might be an untalented 8, but you're a talented 10. With a guitar in your hand and a harmonica in your mouth, you're an 11.
Yeah.
You're an 11 and there's no way around it.
And happened to be the bassist was just the straight doppelganger of good friend and fan of the show, Nick Billett's brother.
He's Nate.
Yeah.
He's Nate.
Nate, if you're listening, I don't know if you are.
A real niche call out to a guy who doesn't listen. I think his girlfriend might listen to the pod sometimes.
Oi, you kind of look like a talented bassist from Melbourne, man. All right.
Okay.
It's a big country.
Yeah. I think if Floodie's guitarist, the guy we're talking about, bassist, is listening as well, you look like a tradie from the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just if you guys could link up and do your own thing, you're welcome. We've done the intro.
Do one of those magical bits where both of you are like impersonating the other in front of each other, just like you're doing a mirror impression.
Yeah. Yeah. mimes of yourselves. So Ash, gorgeous. Lewis, gorgeous. Nate, gorgeous.
Drummer boy, I can't remember your name, but
Can't remember your name. But we did get a chance to chat with Floodies after the show. This is the beauty of Nine Lives Music Festival. Call it a block party, call it what you will, but all of the artists hang around for the whole day to see the other artists.
supporting artists. Art supporting art.
Art supporting art. And they hang out in the car park of the Tivoli Music Hall.
Right
and
near the smokers.
They just brush shoulders with the people. And me and Jake were chatting, and then Jake obviously spotted Lewis from afar because he's a 10.
Yeah, my famdar.
Yeah.
Famedar.
Yeah, your famedar was fucking, the needle was off the Richter.
Beep, 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 beep.
And he went, Tom.
Forearm alert.
Yeah, it's either Bradley Cooper with a mullet over there or that's Lewis from Floodlights. What's more likely, considering we just saw them play? And I turn around, God, behold, it's lo and behold, it's Lewis. And I'm like, what do we do?
And we were able to have a yarn with them, but not without a struggle at first.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of alluding to here.
Okay.
I deliberated for many a moment, and I do this. I get starstruck. I definitely get starstruck.
Okay.
I would say that even like with football players, with artists, with actors, if there's someone famous at work when we have people in for interviews.
Yeah.
And like if you work in the building, God's rule is like, do not fucking approach them in fanboy.
Yeah, we're very lucky where, because it's Triple M, the home of footy, we have lots of ex-footy or current footy stars coming in all the time. Like just last week we had Dane Zorko, who I think he's captain of the Brisbane Lions. I don't know if he is captain, but one of the biggest stars in AFL was just walking through the building. I was like, holy fuck, that's Dane Zorko.
That's Dane Zorko. And I get to say nothing.
Yep.
I have to sit here at my desk and finish this spreadsheet.
I was like, if I'm not going to bat an eyelid at Gordon Tallis or Ben Yeo coming through or Alan Langer, I can't
Corey Parker.
I can't go gush over this manlet god with a pill.
No, you can't. It doesn't matter. We've had Matty Hayden through the studios. It's like it's nonstop. We've had Mick Malloy through. Like, you just don't get to say anything, and it's really hard sometimes. So maybe this time at Nine Lives, I was like, okay, I'm not at work. I don't have my contract to worry about right now.
Get a little bit starstruck if I want to.
I've got a bit of Dutch courage.
Who are you to stop me from having a little bit of a wet dream, daydream over some bloke from Melbourne?
Yeah. Hey, boss. You don't know that I'm about to approach this band, and you can't fine me for it, and I'm going to do it.
No.
But I did take a moment, deliberated. Jake, should we do it? Should we not? Took a step towards them, and as I do, I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'll do it. Took a nervous step towards them, and as I do, just kind of by chance, they walk away. When they walk away. One of their songs as well.
It was. We'll call it coincidence, because it's not as if they saw Tom take one step and then went
ran for the hills.
It wasn't north on north magnets just working, just pushing each other away.
No, it wasn't. It was by happenstance. They saw a vaping corner, and they were like, "Let's go do that."
Poor Tommy takes one step, and they start walking away, and he's just like, see his head just go down. I'm like, oh, Tommy Pickles,
go say hey, you fucking pussy,
you fucking rugrat.
And this is all still dealing with like Shane Keith's death running through my head as well. So that probably didn't help the situation. And then they came back to kind of the spot, whatever vape they saw in the corner that drew them over. They stopped seeing it, and they kind of stood still. And I was like, okay, fuck it, this is my chance. And I went in and I fucking nailed the handshake. And
hard to nail a handshake when you're going up against Pistons like that, mate.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could have just obliterated me.
He could have, just evaporated your whole body with one quick, just little tense of his forearms.
Here's me thinking it was a good handshake. He was probably like, "Who's that limp-wristed coward? Why is he shaking and clamming?
Why am I touching a sickly, cold fucking popsicle stick?"
He's like, "Bro, how long do you have left? You're cancerous, right?"
That's why he spoke to us, because he thought we were terminally ill.
Oh, it was just the Make-A-Wish thing that Shannon was talking about.
Why have you got your hair still? The fuck?
These are the only cancer pages I'm seeing with mullets. This is fucking weird.
But sure enough, he was a good sport, like most artists are when you go and have a chat to them, at least at like that level. And
it was a very thank you for your service chat.
Yeah, it was just like, hey man,
Yeah.
Good set.
That was a great show.
Thanks for coming. We've been wanting to see you for a while.
Your music means so much to me. Didn't get that intense, but I wanted to say it.
Yeah, don't get weird about it. Like,
I saved that for afterwards. Bro, he just means so much to me.
clearly don't rub shoulders with celebs that much, do you, mate?
He's like, we're from Melbourne and no one's heard of us. Fucking chill out.
Yeah. We've got a very poorly timed name ban when we're coming up to Brisbane that's currently in a flood.
Yeah, didn't call them Fuddites, by the way. Left the L's in their name when I approached them. But it was a good chat. He hung around and we had a yarn for like 10 minutes. And I won't die wondering now.
We were like, mate, great set. Would have loved a little bit more interaction with the crowd. And he was like, yeah, look, we knew about like the time slot that we had. He's like, I don't do well with talking to crowds.
Yeah.
He was actually super shy. It was, I don't know, probably the best way to describe it is like a Heath Ledger type, super handsome, super talented, but then just like trying to have a one-on-one conversation, like didn't really lock eyes, was pretty short with his sentences, and not in like a rude way, just like, oh, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. He wasn't he wasn't a performer, which is what you like. If he acted like Will Smith, I'd be mad about it. He's an introverted poet who happens to perform on stage.
Brooding artist.
He's a brooding artist. That's what you want from your pub poetry lead men.
Yeah. So go check out Floodlights. We strongly recommend. You will not be disappointed.
You would not be disappointed for a moment, and shoot them a message afterwards and say. And I also said to him, "Hey man," because we were in the Tivoli and it was indoors, kind of an intimate venue, and we were thinking beforehand like, we haven't seen anyone on anyone's shoulders yet.
Yep.
Is that okay in there? Are we going to get told off by seckies? Is that couth? We just ripped the Band-Aid off, and for Nullarbor, we went. Jakey just fucking put me up on his shoulders. I did have to ask, which I am offended by still. He didn't just lift me up.
You asked me like weeks in advance. You're like, mate, you didn't even ask. You're like, mate, I'm getting on your shoulders for Nullarbor. I was like, I mean, if you want, yeah.
You're giving me this much notice.
I was like, that's fine. Like I've got 30. You weigh less than, or weigh 30
less than 30 kilos.
You weigh 30 kilos less than me.
I really am a make-a-wish kid.
A little emaciated twiglet. I was like, yeah, righto. And I managed to fuck my toe up again. I've had some bad luck with my toe in the past few weeks.
You have.
But yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I can actually it was my big toe that I fucked up. And I was like, if I can stabilize a 70-kilo mulleted lad on me. But I was like, you know what? For Floodies, we'll do it.
You did really well.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people go up on shoulders and they're up for maybe 10 seconds, and then you see the guy on the shoulders looking down, talking to the head that is under their anus.
Giving him a thumbs up.
Yeah, are you right, mate? Are you right? And then all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, they're down. I didn't even have to check on Jake. And I mean, maybe I should have. Maybe it says more about me as a friend. But I didn't look down once to see how you're going.
It's kind of it's sort of, I wouldn't say a compliment, but it's nice knowing that like, and in the past when I've done it, when I've had people on my shoulders, that they feel so secure on my shoulders that they feel like they can just look like they're Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Like they're just like Tom had a really good time on my shoulders, and not in a sexual way. But it was just writhing around, like full on moshing on my shoulders. And like a couple of times I was like slapping him on his thigh, like, just chill out, man. And then when he got down after the song, he's like, "Oi, when you were slapping me, were you like going, yeah, dude?" I was like, "No, I was telling you to chill. You're going to fucking make me quadriplegic, snap my neck with your knees, mate."
I thought you slapping me was like you getting into it. Like, yeah, dude, how fucking good is this? I'm having fun too.
Yeah.
But really you were saying, can you fucking ease up on the boots in the back?
I should have we should have made hand signals. If I start going like, if I start just flapping in the wind,
wobbling.
If I start screaming that I'm in pain, just know that it's probably time to get down.
Yeah, no, we didn't have a safe word.
No.
But it went down. It went off like without a hitch. No one told us to get down. A few other people got up on shoulders afterwards.
We're a trendsetter.
One other one. We're trendsetters.
Started an oi chant.
And then throughout the rest of the day, shoulders galore.
Yeah,
everyone's on shoulder because they went, well, they can fucking do it.
We're the first people at any live gig to ever put someone on our shoulders.
If you've ever put someone on your shoulders or if you've ever put someone on your shoulders or been on someone else's shoulders
prior to the 5th of March 2022,
you owe us.
Yeah.
Even prior to the 5th of March. Even prior to us doing it at Floodlights, you still owe us because we invented it. Because we were going to do it.
Yeah, retroactively.
Yeah, we were going to do it, obviously. But I didn't realize that I was fucking Jake up so much. He sent me a video when he got home with like a couple of cuts couple of cuts and bruises on his shoulders.
I think I bruise easily. I think that's what it
Bit of a
is.
peach.
Yeah. Just had these big fucking marks all over my shoulders like I got into a fight with a Wolverine or something.
And for that, I am sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
But it was, I can't speak for you because you have the bruises, but I'll say it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it was worth it to not get bruised and go up there.
To see the joy on your face like it was your first ever Christmas,
Oh,
it was worth it, mate.
and I said to the guy, I said to Lewis of Floodlights fame afterwards, I said, I was the guy on the shoulders. He's like, no way, you were the guy on the shoulders. I was like, fucking oath. And he said, Brisbane's a great fucking crowd. You guys always love it, and we love you. And I went, I hope you don't say that everywhere you go. I'm going to assume you don't, and we'll take it with wholehearted honesty. And I believed him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, face like that can't lie. But to tie it back to Warnie, I don't know if you heard, there was a touching tribute when I was at the bar. I saw some young scallywag, a young gentleman, mulleted machine come up to the bar, and he was like, "G'day, brah, could I get 2 Warnies?"
Oh, bullshit.
And the guy was like, "What?" And he's like, "Fucking give me 2 Warnies, man." And he's like, "What are you fucking talking about? This is a bar." And he's like, 2 VBs. So I heard a couple of blokes who were just like, "Oh, are you on the fucking Warnies today, mate?"
Okay. Yeah, it was sweet. I would say it was hard to get up after the news of... I'm not going to sit here and say I was going to never go and I was going to cry at home because Shane Keith died, because he would have wanted us to go. But it was hard to get up from the news and go, all right, let's go and have fun and rip in and have fun at a concert. It felt a bit strange.
Yeah, had to turn ourselves from a lead balloon into the full blimp that we were.
Yeah.
Peak the festival.
Oh, we're blimping, don't worry. The old waistline is looking very blimp-like.
Oh, mate. Don't get me started.
But there were a few sweet Warnie tributes on the day, because everyone is at a festival. Everyone's aware of what's happened that morning. In morning. MOURNING. There were guys with zinc on their noses.
Yes.
At an indoor venue, you can only assume that's a Warnie tribute.
Surely. Over their lips and nose.
Over their lips and nose, I'd say that's a Warnie tribute.
Either that or a fear of lights burning them indoor. These stage lights are fucked.
My lips can't handle the purple dim light coming off the stage.
Nah, they get chapped in red lights, man. It's a genetic condition.
Gotta block up.
My dad and my dad's dad always used to get all dry lips when they were going to see.
They call them gig lips.
When they were going to see, I don't know, fucking Beethoven. Who did my dad see?
Yeah, my dad's dad.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Bob will burn your lips off.
He will.
The lights that he brings, the laser show.
Big hot lips.
But also before they played Nullarbor, Floodie's greatest song, that song in itself was attributed to Shane Keith. The drummer gave it. This one is for the death of Shane Keith Warne.
Yeah, he said rest in peace, Shane Keith.
Rest in peace, Shane Keith, and straight into Nullarbor.
Yeah.
And that in itself, no other tribute throughout the day of Warnie. We were kind of waiting for someone to stop the crowd for a moment, or even a moment of silence, something like... No artist other than the quick little tribute that Floodies gave pre-Nullarbor even mentioned the man.
Well, I guess the day wasn't for him.
Sports and arts just don't cross over, I guess.
Well, yeah. In this circumstance...
Apart from like pre-game shows, pre-game music, apart from Jimmy Barnes playing at the grand final, do sports and arts cross over?
Nah. Usually the sports are beating up and taking the lunch money from the musicians.
From the arts.
Yeah, from the arts.
If Australia has its priorities set, which it clearly does. So great day.
Yeah, great way to distract ourselves from an otherwise tumultuous first 2 months of 2022.
Absolutely. Should we move on to reviews?
Why not? Why not?
Did you have anything else planned in the meantime?
Nah. Other than just say, your boys are on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And
oh, fucking oath they're on TikTok.
I wouldn't say we're getting blown up or we're blowing up, but, we're doing okay.
Why would you not say that? I'd say we're blowing up.
All right, if you want.
Don't be humble, dude. So just because we come from humble beginnings doesn't mean we have to have humble middles and ends.
Yeah, let's do what Shane would have done and just be like, yeah, fucking greatest TikTok channel out there, mate.
Greater, the most views any videos ever had on TikTok.
We'll tell you about the reviews this week, and if you want to get amongst the OTAC community, we'd love to hear from you. Share us a comment on one of our YouTube videos or comment on one of our Instagram posts. While you're there, give us a cheeky follow and subscribe. And yeah, we'll interact with you like comments left by the great Christian Reese, the Animal Chin.
The Animal Chin strikes again. He does not miss a beat. Christian Reese emailing us this week.
Whoa.
Didn't even leave it on YouTube.
Formalizing it.
It's very formal.
I mean, we did tell the people about the platform.
So if it's anything to go by. Christian takes.
The platform being an email inbox.
We enlighten people to the concept of email.
Yeah, we're on multiple social media platforms. We got YouTube and Gmail.
Dude, you think TikTok's good? Our Gmail is blowing up. You got like 4,000 emails in there. It's crazy.
Your rent has been due for 6 months and you're still not paying it. We're gonna cut off your lights soon. It's like, oh, everyone wants a piece of the
Everyone wants a
OTAP.
bit. It's Spotify telling us we need to remove our episodes because they're too crass.
This is Constable Sherman from the South Brisbane Police Department. We have an accusation of ... We'll let you figure out the rest.
Yeah. That's just another fan, I think. Another fan.
Send him an autograph.
That's a potato right there. Christian Reese of the Animal Chin fame, of San Clemente, California fame, writes, "Boys, let me begin by saying thank you for giving me a non-big data option to leave a review. Also, I am super sorry to hear about the flooding. My parents, my childhood home to Hurricane Sandy. I think what he means to say is my parents lost my childhood home to Hurricane Sandy floodwaters."
Thank God. I thought he meant he lost his parents and his childhood home.
Holy shit, no. So my parents lost my childhood home to Hurricane Sandy floodwaters, so my heart goes out to those dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Some thoughts. A, Yillugup, Wollongong, and Coolangatta are definitely the wettest sounding cities in Oz, in my opinion.
This guy's done his research.
This guy's done his research and found a lot of places with a lot of L's.
Googled most L's in names of towns in Australia.
Most L-heavy Australian cities. See what comes
Who's
up.
copped the most L's in which Australian town?
And I'd say at this point it's Yillugup. It's taken the fucking bickies.
Yeah.
B, the D-bar reference was hilarious, although I'm preferential to Kira or The Point in Burleigh.
The D-bar.
Remember I said I'm doing barrels at D-bar?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Surfing The Point out at D-bar.
Yeah. Surfer guy got that.
Surfer guy got that. He gets Australian surf breaks.
Of course he does.
Is he researching or is he just knows every good surf?
He's just a sick cunt who knows everything.
He's just Keanu in Point Break.
Mm-hmm.
Or Swayze, probably. He's the real surfer guy, not the undercover cop surfer guy. C, if we are having a Superfans match, I would like it to be in the Celebrity Deathmatch claymation format, mainly for my opponent's safety, especially since one is apparently fueled by tepid oat mush.
It's a 2-horse race between you and raw oats and water, mate. So
Slimcock's not even in the picture, apparently.
no, well, I mean, yeah, Keith is
Keith proposed this fight. and,
Keith's working for us, mate. He can't take on contests right now.
he's being not paid to sit here and listen to this.
Correct.
I'm not sure what he means by the claymation format. Does he mean clay fighting or?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming by that he means like stop motion animation, like Wallace and Gromit. So instead of doing a reenactment of a fight or an enactment of a fight, in an animated form, so no one gets hurt.
He'd rather claymate the event so that no one gets hurt.
Yeah, that's
I'm with
what
you.
he's saying. He doesn't want you to lose a dad.
Okay, but he wants to see how it would play out via claymation.
Can't have two fatherless hosts.
Maybe we could, since he is fueled by tepid oat mush, maybe we make tepid oat mush mation, and instead of using clay, we use the oaty, the mushy oaty material from Dad's porridge.
Perfect, mate. I'll delegate that one to you.
All right, I can sort that one out. It's my idea. I guess I'll do it. The guy who lost his home in the floods and asked to go to the pub is a legend. He is definitely the most honest person who has ever lived. We should all try to be like him. I give this episode 10 out of 10 green whistles for flood-induced head injuries. Would recommend. Kind regards, Christian Reese, JD-esque. Sent from my iPhone. Please excuse the typos.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian. Thanks for checking in with us, mate.
Thank you, Christian.
And thanks for. It's really sweet when someone who has no stake in it just saying, "I feel for the people."
That is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I suppose he can relate. Given Hurricane Sandy, that sounds awful as well.
Yep.
Sad to hear you lost your childhood home, pal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considering you're such a surfer dude, though, couldn't you just I don't know, caught a barrel in the floodwater or something?
Just cowabungered your way out of there.
Cowabungered your way out of there, dude.
I feel
I'm a fish anyway.
I feel really bad making jokes about a hurricane.
Sorry, Christian. I'm sure it was awful. So ingenuine.
So disingenuous.
I just can't not sound sarcastic.
Righto,
It's a
mate.
problem I deal with day in, day out. It's funny that you are going for the non-big data option, insinuating that leaving a comment on YouTube uses too much data.
Yeah, you can just pause the video, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to watch the whole... Or is he saying that just the act of leaving the comment chews up too much data?
I don't know how they run data out in California.
If San Clemente is charging you by the YouTube comment for fucking for data, then I think you need a new provider, Christian.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep emailing us, sure.
Yeah.
As you see, we see them, we receive them, and also non-filtered, no YouTube Nazis. You can say whatever you want.
Whatever works for you, we'd love to hear from you. Much like we hear from Tom's dad every week, which is a highlight. Is a highlight for sure.
Now, who sounds ingenuine?
I'm serious.
I love it. It's great.
It is. Now, yeah, I do sound sarcastic.
The more that I back you into a corner.
Smoked Paprika, we do love you. Part Australian, part Chinese. Chimes in with this one. Floods and war, eh? Perfect start.
Good start, Dad.
Well, at least COVID has fucked off home for a welcome rest. Where's home? Like Wuhan?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just
We're saying a metaphor that it's gone home and it's not coming out of its house.
I think that's it.
It's not the front page story at the moment. The lads try to make sense of the world in their own special way. I say we put them in charge of Queensland for a while.
You sure?
Dual-wheeled premiers? Two heterosexual white blokes with mullets running the state?
Well, you've heard of co-captains in rugby league. We're co-premiers. And we know nothing about anything.
All right, first petition. People really want to legalise weed. What about legalising firearms?
How about that, huh? I know John Howard did a lot of good work reforming firearms back in the day. Hand in your guns, post-Port Arthur massacre. Christian Reese, you might not get these very Australian jokes. But the boys are bringing firearms back.
We are. That's if we get into office, which at this point our campaign isn't. It's
not looking good.
It's not looking good.
Hashtag OTAT 2024.
At least they restore some order. That's what Pat said.
Oh, okay. Would we now?
At least they'd restore some order. Putin invades a country right next door and he's a villain. America invaded Afghanistan, which is on the other side of the world, and they're heroes. We're getting real Desert Storm political over here. Too confusing for this little black duck. I'm glad I read that cleanly the first time.
Little black cuck.
Makes my head hurt. Not sure who to cheer for, so I'll cheer for Jake and Tom. With their take on the world, I know our country's future is in good hands. 10 Carl Stefanovics out of 10 for this episode, but I enjoy the TV reviews as well. Till next time. So Pap does like us when we just do our best impression of someone trying to wax poetic.
No, I think right now we'd be missing a bit of TV commentary. It's no secret that Dad prefers the episodes that we talk about a thing.
Wild. What
crazy.
You don't like us just talking for 50 minutes about, I mean, we spoke about Shane Warne and a festival, but really not a lot of structure. You don't like that?
That's not for you?
You don't like it?
I mean, he has it with every time he says it, or it's not a preface when you do it afterwards. We found that out last week.
It's a disclaimer.
He disclaims every criticism with, but I'm not your target audience. I get it. I'm the oldest potato out there.
You're our number one fan and you're not our target audience. Grow up, mate.
He's like, you're not trying to reach other 58-year-old, 57-year-old men, so I shouldn't like it.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are. Maybe there's a market there.
Maybe we're the daddy's pod.
I think the market is Triple M. I think that's the 58-year-old male market.
All right, so we'll just talk like this from now on then, eh?
Greg Martin, mate.
G'day.
G'day. How fuck are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to continue with that. I just went, you know what?
We'll leave that one.
I'll live to fight another day without angering the most powerful voice in radio in Brisbane.
The people who line our pockets.
So yeah, look, as I said, thanks for comments, Christian Reese and Smoked Paprika.
Won't touch on the contrarian stance of the war-based commentary that Dad started to get into.
I'm not.
It's a bit dicey.
I'm not educated enough, and I don't have the gall.
No.
I don't have the moxie.
I don't have the moxie. I do not have the moxie.
My moxie fails me.
I think what Dad's getting at, and I'm not making comments on it, but I'm just clarifying his point. He's claiming that when Russia do a thing like invade another nation, America condemns them and the West condemns them. When America do the same thing and invade a nation, they are not condemned and they are the superhero.
Yeah, because they're doing it to free the people when it's really just harvesting their natural resources.
They're doing it to find WMDs. 9/11, they got us for 9/11.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to get into it.
America's done a great job of just writing their own script of the world.
Yeah.
Hey, like Russians and Koreans, evil.
Bad.
Just bad.
And every Hollywood film, they're bad guys.
Even European, like Die Hard. What are they? Swedish.
Swedish, yeah.
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 Oh, maybe German actually.
German, Swedish. Hans Gruber. Sounds pretty German.
Hans
to me.
Gruber. Yeah.
Hans Gruber.
Very German name.
Take note that obviously Russia, Ukraine, it's awful what's going on, but you got to remember that everything that we're seeing is put through the lens of the West.
Mm-hmm.
We're being fed a very Western narrative.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Russia have their reasons to do what they're doing. I'm just saying that remember that propaganda is a thing, I will say.
100%.
Trying to avoid the tinfoil hat as much as I can here.
All I'll say is America, watch out.
Because Australia,
Because
the
this
superpower that is.
these two protagonists that are going to be premiers of the promised land known as
my
Queensland.
God. Okay, alliteration
I'm
king.
going to punch you in your poo hole.
In your Putin hole. In your poo hole, Putin. We Putin, our fists up your poo hole.
Yep. Keep going.
Okay, we got there. So I don't know where we are. We back to Shane, I guess.
We can talk about Shane a little bit more because we did watch this interview on ABC iView. It's 28 minutes, no ads, which I don't know how people watch programs without ads because I don't subscribe to any paid subscriptions.
No, I don't.
I don't pay for it. Not at all.
I only watch the only ad-free content I get is through state-funded platforms like the ABC and the SBS.
Yep.
Which I do. Oh, SBS has ads as well.
Or schizophrenic fever dreams that I think is actual TV shows, and it just turns out to be conjurations in my own head.
Okay. Okay, dude. Now we're getting insight into Jakey's headspace.
The psyche of me.
You wanted segments, Keith Slimcock? This is Jake's therapy corner segment.
Yeah. Oh God.
What's going on inside that old noggin?
No one wants to hear that. I don't want to hear it. So if
I don't want to hear it.
So if someone can tell me how to shut off the voices, that'd be great.
Okay, he's literally schizophrenic. He sees dead people. Yep. The interview that we watched was on ABC iView. Like we said, it's from 2018. So Shane he died at 52, so he'd be about 49 here.
He's just about to turn 50 in the interview.
And he looks well, which is, again, so shocking. He's just so... He's so prevalent still. Like even, I know we're getting away from the interview again, but that's why it's not like he disappeared from the limelight and everyone forgot about him. Like he's in commentary always.
He's a cult figure.
He just called the Ashes. Like he's so fucking, he says in this interview, he says that even post-career, I think the reason I'm so popular is I am a human and I'm brutally honest and I own my mistakes and I don't pretend to be perfect. He truly, he's got the perception of a pisshead. We were talking to Dan from Trademark earlier.
Or a doper.
Or a doper. Dan's a massive cricket head and was really torn up about the whole thing. This is what I mean. We can't sit here and pretend to think like it ruined our weekend. But you see the effect that Warnie's death had on people like Dan, like real cricket heads, and it's like... It really, really means
Shattered
something to
him.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dan was almost in tears before this. He was just telling us a story of he was listening to Ian Chappell talk about him, and Ian Chappell was saying he's got a perception of being a pisshead, or yes, he's a party boy, I suppose, with girls, and he's a mad rooter and
Just loves the nightlife.
knows how to enjoy himself, but he didn't drink that much.
No.
He loved his durries, and there's multiple shots of him having a V being a fag.
But to think he's a John Daly or an Anthony Kiedis of the world.
No, he's really not.
Yeah, he says in the interview, he's like, never touched coke, never touched any sort of drugs in my life. Like that shit doesn't interest me. I don't like drugs. And he had the big doping scandal. I think in 2003 they were saying. Yeah,
obviously if you don't know, you somehow know less than us about cricket, which is hard. But yeah, Warnie was stood down by Cricket Australia because he had a drug show up in a drug test. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Well, he said it was a diet pill, a fat pill that he got from his mum.
Because so they called him out for. You tested positive on this test, and he's like, "Oh no, I wasn't doping. It was a diet pill from my mom. It was a blood thinner."
Which like in a vacuum is like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, in a vacuum, it seems like on paper, that seems like utter bullshit. And I think I'm not sure how it's gone down in cricket folklore. I don't know if the country's turned around and believed him, but just listening to him talk in this interview from someone who is so honest, he doesn't seem like he's lying, and I do believe him.
Well, he's got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Like, there's no reason for him to lie. Like, he could come out and be like, yeah, I was fucked up I was fucking sucking dick for 8 balls midway through my career, like the night before the, Game 5 of the Ashes series.
Yeah. And I think that's why I believe him, because he's been honest and he's owned so many mistakes in the past, whether it's cheating or a sex scandal or pokies or whatever it is. He's owned so many things, so he would own this if he did it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I believe him when he's talking about it. He's just got such a it's a very honest interview, and he's just comes across as, that's why everyone loves him. Seems like such a genuine, trustworthy dude. I know genuine is thrown around like it's anything, but as far as genuine blokes who seem like your mate at the pub, you can't go, oh, he's bullshitting me right now. Like he seems like he's telling the truth.
I think Aussies, and I think just humans in general, there's something about someone who comes off as flawless, which is a little bit irksome. It's like, there's got to be something wrong with you. Like, and,
what are your skeletons?
Yeah. That's why people tried to dig up dirt on like Obama or like, other leaders or, iconic people of pop culture. But I think what people really love to see is someone who has made mistakes in their life and they've rehabilitated their image.
Yeah.
Someone who, for whatever reason, they fell out of favor with the public, and then they're able to curry that favor again by, as you said, just owning up to their mistakes. And I mean, it helps that you're, in some people's eyes, the greatest of a sport. It helps that you're a larrikin. It helps that you're super charismatic. But yeah, I think above all else, people just loved Shane because he seemed like just an everyday Aussie bloke who was fucking really good at spinning a ball.
Yeah. And it comes back to that. It's exactly what we're talking about, like going up to floodlights. He's nervous. He's imperfect. He's not polished. Shane's not polished.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
He's fucking bumpy as shit. I don't know what the opposite of polished is, but he's not fucking polished.
Unpolished.
He's unpolished.
He's a bit murky.
It's murky waters over at Shane Keith headquarters. So that's what people like. And if it's if he's getting into trouble or getting into hot water about shit that we've all done, I mean, not everyone goes on fucking 48-hour sex rampages, but he's just so relatable. He goes into his diet, and I mean, this is where I wanted to talk about the misconception of him being a drug fiend or an alcoholic.
Yeah,
my mind,
a degenerate,
and my mind. I don't know if it should have gone here, but when I heard the news on Saturday morning. Shane Warne dies of a heart attack at 52 in Thailand. I think a lot of people thought he's got some dodgy pingers over there.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first assumption.
Yeah. And
from someone who's not like as casual as a cricket fan can get, watch a little bit around Christmas time. But yeah, I'm not someone who's invested in the sport or anything.
That's what you thought. Yeah, and I think a lot of people did think that. I almost feel guilty thinking it now. I mean, what are you supposed to think when a supposedly healthy 52-year-old drops dead in Thailand?
In a Thailand villa overlooking Koh Samui.
Like, where does your mind go? It's suspicious because he's overseas. It's suspicious because he's 52 and he seemed to be in good health.
And he's had the perception of being a party boy.
And he's had the perception of being a party boy. Like, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to weigh all those factors up and go, maybe he took some bad fucking drugs. I hope it's not that. It could have been his diet that caught up with him. Who knows? I mean, it's too early to speculate on any of it, but notoriously awful diet. Ate fucking bullshit.
We're not saying the man's flawless. Like he didn't do drugs. Didn't drink a lot. Like he enjoyed a beer from time to time, but definitely wasn't without his flaws.
No, especially as far as the daily food pyramid goes. He tells stories of like the night before, like going out on a big day, and he's like, I've just been chain smoking in my room all night, just trying to fucking get the anxiety out of me.
What a fiend.
Just fucking, and he was smoking press conferences. I saw a clip on YouTube this week of Warnie taking photos at a press conference with a wax statue they did for him. And I'm not sure what year this was, but there was a bit of rhetoric going around that Shane was quite heavy.
Yeah.
As he was as a cricketer.
Yeah.
quite rotund, knew how to enjoy himself. He is standing next to the wax statue and he's kind of standing there gingerly. And one of the journalists goes, "Oh, obviously, mate, the statue was taken a couple of months ago. Which figure do you prefer?" And Shane just looks at him and goes, "Okay, yeah, I thought you'd do that." And the journo kind of nervously laughs and he goes, "Yep, you ruined it. See ya." And he just walks off stage.
Oh.
Yeah, hated it. And
Yeah.
he's wearing like this baggy black shirt that's like, relatively slimming. You can't really see his gut in it, but he said, that's why I didn't want to do this. You've ruined it. Bye-bye.
I mean, for like as alpha can get bloke, like this is just an example that like, shaming anyone for any reason is, most circumstances a shit thing to do.
Yeah.
But body shaming like shouldn't be anywhere, especially for a male athlete. Like you can make comments about someone who's, obviously who should be in peak physical condition if they're playing or whatever the case may be. But if a guy's at just like a Ripley's Believe It or Not, or like I can't remember what the wax statue chick's name is.
Madame Tussauds.
Madame Tussauds, yeah. If you're just there, like you shouldn't be body shaming one of the greatest cricketers of all time.
Why doesn't your gut look like the carved abs on this fucking wax statue right here? It's like, dude, because it's a fucking wax statue.
You don't look like George Clooney in Batman with the plastic abs. What's going on here?
I can't see your nipples through your shirt, and that's a problem for me. I mean, that's true, and like obviously body shaming doesn't have its place anywhere, but I think with sport, it's one of the few things where you're allowed to question it because it dictates performance, right?
Sure.
If you do our job and you show up to work and your boss asks you get putting on a few kegs, mate. It's like my weight doesn't affect my job whatsoever. When your weight affects your job, you got to take into account, laziness. Are you training hard? Is this affecting your spin bowling?
Yeah. But those weren't the questions that were being asked when he was going, media press conference day before the Ashes. He was at a fucking wax statue presenting.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The thing with Shane is it never did affect him. His weight, he just kept fucking taking wickets no matter the shape of him.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's Kenny Powers. I've already spoken about this.
You're
He's
not
fucking
wrong.
Shane Warne is Australian Kenny Powers of Eastbound and Down. He's a fat party boy.
With an arm like a fucking
with
rocket.
an arm like a fucking rocket. And I love it because you look at a fast bowler and they look like Mitchell Johnson, or they look
long,
like Mitchell
skinny
Stark,
blokes.
Pat Cummins, the most handsome alphas in the world.
Big pendulums for arms.
Big pendulum, shredded. Warnie can go out there. He fucking barely gets a run up. He takes 2 steps, and then you saw some of the balls we were watching before this. Just the fucking spin that he gets on that Gadding ball. It's like, oh my god,
Unreal. Yeah.
His first ball at the Ashes. His first ball on English soil, and he takes a wicket to the English skipper.
His debut,
and he marches the English skipper as Gadding just looks around like, what the fuck just happened? And no one realized we were watching the beginning of fucking a dynasty.
The greatness unfold.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's probably why he did become so big, is that same reason that, someone like Conor McGregor is as big as he is, as Michael Jordan was as big as he is, because when you've got someone who's got all the talent in the world and then a mouth on them, and they can talk, like they have trash talk in their pocket, they know how to play mind games, and then they go out there and back up their performance. They walk the talk. That is everything that you want to see as a fan of the sport.
If you've got that as an athlete, you're a superstar. You're Muhammad Ali or you're Conor McGregor. So few guys can run their mouth and then back it up.
Yeah, and obviously the politically not politically correct, but the smart or shrewd thing to do in those circumstances is to do the media train thing of going, yeah, look, the boys are going to go out there and give 110%. Obviously, we're going up against a formidable side, so we'll have to keep our P's and Q's about us. Just going and be like, yeah, these guys don't stand a chance.
Yeah, and then what do people watch more? Like who the fuck tunes in for a run-of-the-mill press conference with media trained answers? Like no one gives a shit. There's a reason Conor McGregor's like the highest paid UFC fighter of all time.
Yep.
It's because it's theater. And I don't know if Warnie had that. I don't know if he had he could talk on the cricket pitch.
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip of him going up to it's in 2020, so like post Ashes career, He's a bit older, but he goes up. There's a guy named Marlon, and he just fucking, it shows how much of an alpha Shane was. He goes up to him and he just goes, he bowls him, and then he doesn't get him out. He just bowls a ball to this guy Marlon and hits it away. And then Shane goes up to Marlon and he goes, you're going to fucking grab some more people? And the stump mics are getting all of it before they turn them down because they realize he's going off. He goes, fuck you, Marlon, you're going to grab some more people? And he's got a finger in this guy's face who's like 10 years his junior. Like, Shane's not beating the shit out of anyone.
Yeah.
But it's just his fucking presence. This guy's like, holy shit. And he physically grabs his shirt and he's like, fuck you, Marlon, puts a finger in his face.
He's serious.
He's so serious, dude.
God, he's heated 50-year-old man who's just
so
blowing
mad.
up.
Yeah. I'll show you the clip afterwards.
What was his beef with Marlon?
Well, apparently Marlon grabbed a couple of overs earlier. Marlon grabbed an Australian, like when he was like either going for a run or trying to, when he was fielding, trying to do a run.
Harassed another cricketer.
Yeah, and that's what he's saying. You're going to fucking grab some more people, like grab them by the jersey.
Right, okay.
And Shane did not like that.
Yeah. I don't think he's, the same cut from exactly the same cloth as like a McGregor, where he goes, I'm going to beat the fuck out of these people. Like, I'm going to wipe the floor with these sorry poms or whatever. He just had a way with words, and he was a very extroverted personality.
Yeah.
The cult of personality, you would say.
He was the cult of personality. He if you didn't like cricket, you knew Warnie.
Yeah.
Everyone knew Warnie.
To sum up Shane Warne, in 4 words, verbatim quote that he had at the very start of this interview, which is phenomenal. Leigh Haynes sits down and she goes, it's nice to meet you, Shane. And he's like, yeah, nice to be met.
Oh my God.
It's like, that's such a Shane thing to say. Just, it's a pleasure for you to meet me.
Yeah. Imagine entering a fucking room and being able to pull that off and not get called out for being a cunt.
I want
Nice to be met.
I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try that. Next like job interview I go to, like, oh, you must be Jacob. Nice to meet you. Like, nice to be met. Where's my corner office?
Yeah. It's not nice to meet you. I'm not saying it's not nice to meet you, but it's nice to be met.
It's not. Yeah. Look, it's
So alpha.
It's like the king saying, yes, you may kiss the ring.
Yeah, dude. It's Harrison Ford at the end of Empire Strikes Back when Carrie Fisher's like, I love you. And Harrison goes, I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just acknowledgement.
yeah.
That's all you get.
It's not reciprocated yet. I might get there.
Yeah.
But for now, thank you for the love.
The epitome of treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it fucking, I think, what's her name? Leigh Sales?
Yeah.
I think she,
Leigh Hayes, is it?
We really should know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look it up. ABC Journo.
You'll find it.
I'm sure she's won Walkleys and we should know her name.
Do your own research.
Do your own research. But just before we wrap up, on athletes talking shit and then backing it up, the backing it up part, it shows how important that is, because if you're just a shit talker, you become... How sad is Conor McGregor now? You're a UFC guy.
Yeah.
How sad is it now that I assume he's still coming out and talking shit, but it's a bit cringe?
Not so much these days, but he did have a couple of incidents where he fought this guy named Dustin Poirier upon his return. He hadn't fought for, I think, 3 or 4 years. He had all sorts of issues after he fought the guy who's known as the greatest fighter of all time right now. And yeah, he kind of went into disappearance after that, the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
And he had like really good exchanges with this Dustin Poirier guy. Sorry, he fought one more time, I think back in 2020. And then he fought Poirier at the start of 2021 and then again at the start of this year or end of last year.
And he lost, right?
He lost back-to-back times.
Yeah.
And after the first time, like before the first fight with him, he was very amicable with Dustin. He was saying like, yeah, he's a good guy, blah, blah, blah. And then after, he was very much, fuck you.
Yeah.
You fucking little rat. I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after that, he was screaming like in the arena when he was getting interviewed by Joe. And athletes, I think it's bad to interview athletes after a performance, no matter whether they win or lose, because their brain's still wired, they're exacerbated, out of energy. They can barely, it's why they train.
Full of adrenaline, yeah.
It's why they media train athletes. So it's just drilled into them to be like, when you are mentally spent, spit out these lines, and then that'll get you through to the locker room. Yeah. And Conor was just saying stuff like, Dustin, your wife was in my DMs and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's very much I don't know if I already said it, but it's like a boy cried wolf. Like this guy's very rapidly losing credibility because not only did he not perform well, but he's going back on words that he said 6-7 years ago where he's like, you know, in victory, I'm gracious, and in defeat, I am humble. And then you come out and say shit like that. You're like, your character's inconsistent.
And it all comes down to winning. If he wins that fight, he can say whatever he wants afterwards, and he's a fucking champion.
You can keep lauding on that arrogant mentality if you want, but if you lose, you need to take a page out of Shane Warne's book and just go, yeah, right, fucked up.
Take your L's.
Yep.
Take your L's and go, I fucked up. I embarrassed my kids. I fucked up. It's like, that's the problem I have with Kyrgios. He talks the talk and doesn't walk the walk. You can talk as much shit if you want to be. McEnroe talked all the shit in the world. He was the most arrogant motherfucker. He abused refs.
But he backed it up.
But he fucking backed it up. If you're not winning, then you can't say shit. And Shane talks the talk and he walked the walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walked bigger than anyone. Walked bigger than most. He's really one of those. The cricket is how old? Cricket is hundreds of years old. One of the oldest sports that's around. I don't think there's hyperbole in saying we haven't seen any like him. We won't ever see another like him. As far as just what he can do with a cricket ball, there's no spin bowlers anymore. There's Gary Lyon, and that's it. Like, no one bowls spin anymore. And again, I'm not Mr. Cricket, but from what I've heard, spin bowling was dead before Shane came around. No one was doing it, and it was just fast bowl. And he came through and everyone wanted to be Warnie.
Yes, yep.
Everyone wanted to be Warnie. And I was listening to another podcast hosted by people who know far more about cricket than I do, but to get across how hard it is what he does, how hard spin bowling is. All of the kids that were inspired by Shane and wanted to be Shane inspired a whole generation of kids to spin bowl. We got like 2 out of it.
Yeah.
Like, of all the kids who want to do it, that shows how fucking hard it is.
How difficult this skill is.
Yeah, it's like the thing, and he made it look so fucking easy. That's the thing, he does it, and you watch him do it, you go, that makes sense. It comes out the back of his hand.
Yep.
He spins the ball, it hits the pitch, and then it fucking deviates. Like, how hard is that? And no one else can do it.
Not to that level.
Not to that level. And even if you get someone else who can technically do what he did, you'll never get someone with the allure and the character and just the fucking superstar that was Shane. So
there once was a bloke named Shane. To spin the ball gave him fame. Surname was Warne, and now that he's gone, we will never forget his name.
Is that off the dome?
It was off the dome.
That's very sweet, dude.
Thanks, man.
I like that.
For a real casual cricket fan, that's my salute to the late great Shane Warne.
Tom, you rant and ramble for 10 minutes inconcisively, and then
let me just brood for a minute. Pretend I'm listening to you when in reality I'm making a limerick about someone who's just passed.
I was wondering why Jake's eyes roll back into the back of his head the last
just
10 minutes.
computing.
I didn't want to bring it up. Okay, I see what you were doing.
I definitely got all my work done today. I wasn't writing that down on my notepad.
Just made an acrostic poem at home. That was beautiful. Can we hear it again? Is it still up there?
Sure. There once was
a guy named Shane.
There once was a bloke named Shane. Spinning a ball gave him fame. Surname was Warne, and now he's gone. We will never forget his name.
Put that on the plaque.
Fucking oath.
Put that on the plaque. If that's not beautiful, that's where I'm clipping that up.
And if you want a limerick written about you, fucking listen to the show, mate.
Become the greatest spin bowler, arguably best cricketer of all time, and then you'll get a poem.
You'll get a wax statue and someone will make a comment about your physique next to it.
The real accolade.
But yeah, look, if you have made it this far into the episode, one final thing, I'll just say it's been a tough 2022 for a lot of people. And just want to say that if you are struggling, that's perfectly human. That's, no one's perfect. Reach out to someone. I think in these trying times, we're all feeling a little bit deflated, depressed, blue, whatever you want to call it. And it's important to express those feelings to someone you trust or someone objective. There's plenty of hotlines out there. But all I want to say is that you're important to a lot of people, whoever you are. So, yeah, if you're going through a tough time, just reach out.
That's sweet. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks, mate.
It's very fitting for this is a conversation starter, Trademark Studios.
It is, yeah. I feel the energy from...
It's all the trademark gear around you.
It's the trademark gear. It's the past few weeks, past couple of years, really.
It's Shane saying it in an interview. That's a big point that he made as well.
Yeah, reach out.
Yeah, he was like, reach out. Shane was the toughest motherfucker around, and he was like,
sorry,
toe.
Yeah, sorry.
That's where all his pain's really coming from. Your big toe.
Just stub my big toe again.
Jacob.
Oh my god.
He said that he went to a psychologist and he spoke to someone, and it really helped him. He made it. The psychiatrist sat him down in a hotel room and said, "I want you to write your obituary."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the man that I will be remembered for yet." And then he did about 7 years of work on himself.
Didn't he just seem so at peace in his interview?
He seemed so at peace. Yeah. And it was that was the last question, and very, I suppose now in retrospect, like not haunting, but I suppose very fitting. The last question she asked him is, "What would your obituary be? Hopefully you've got another 30 years left in this world." But,
yes.
And then he had another 4.
It's sad, man.
18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah, how haunting that is that was the last question he got in that exclusive interview.
Yeah. We're all human.
We are all human.
No one's indestructible. If Shane Keith Warne can die at 52 years old, fuck me.
Exactly right.
So we're all vulnerable, Jacob. None of us are perfect, and let's take that away from Shane Keith as his legacy. Let's apply that to our day to day.
Couldn't agree more, mate. No one's perfect unless your name is Lewis and you're the front man of Floodlights. Hit us up.
And in that case, hit us up.
And on that note, we'll catch you next
Just
week.
quickly, what would you give Shane Warne's life out of 10?
I mean, it's disrespectful to not give it anything other than a 10.
I thought you were going to say like a 1 as a joke.
It was shit.
After all that, maybe a 1.
I hate the guy.
Sorry.
No,
I would also give Shane Warne 10 Gadding balls out of 10.
10 Gadding balls out of 10. I'll give him, 10 bread rolls with butter out of 10.
That's a better one. 10 Winnie Blues out of 10.
We will catch you next time.
Bye-bye.